Weird sciencey facts that boggle my mind.
Water is weird. Some of you know that I've done episodes on water in the past, and you know it has a lot of cool properties, and oftentimes it plays by its own rules. And even though it's such a common part of our lives that it just seems mundane and ordinary, I keep finding out things about it that make me think that it is fucking magic. Now, we're all familiar with the different forms of water, you know? It's liquid in its most common form, and then it can be a solid when it freezes or a gas when it boils. But I recently found out that water has a state called a triple point, where it's just literally all of those things at the same time. How it can be a solid, liquid, and gas all at the same time? Magic. And you cannot convince me otherwise. Now, this requires a very specific temperature and pressure. Exactly 273.16 Kelvin and 611.66 pascals. And I'm sure, like me, those numbers mean as much to you as your uncle's bowel movements. So for those of us who are not Neil deGrasse Tyson, that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes sense. That's the point where water will either remain a solid or a liquid. And 0.0887 psi. And since the atmospheric pressure at sea level is 14.7 psi, that means that this takes place in nearly a complete vacuum. So basically the pressure is at the point where water wants to vaporize, but the temperature is at the point where water wants to remain a liquid or a solid. And as a result, water's just like, screw it, I'm doing all three. You can't make me choose, you're not my real dad. However, with a tiny variation in either pressure or temperature, we can make it choose and instantly change it into any one of those forms that we want. But it gets cooler because this is beyond just a random water factoid that's interesting. This unique property of water has very real, tangible effects on our lives and our world. For example, this unique point is what has been used to define Kelvin, so you know Neil deGrasse Tyson can Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's also what's used to calibrate thermometers. So you can thank the triple point of water for letting you know if it's a good day to wear a bra. Or not. And it's responsible for a bunch of other sciencey stuff that no doubt affect our lives in ways that I won't be able to appropriately articulate. But the fact that when somebody told water that it can be anything it wants to be, and it decided that it wants to be all of the things, all at the same time, that is pretty mind-boggling.